Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a really easy, and when I say easy I mean like super easy, there's like 2 bits of wood and a couple of stones, nano tank. So this is going to be used as a shrimp tank. It's actually a gift for my mum, but if anybody wanted to replicate something like this, it would be ideal for sort of nano fish or shrimp. The point of it is that it is literally something that anybody can do and anybody can maintain and anybody can grow these plants. So this isn't some like super high-end scape, it is something very, very simple, but I think it'll be a nice gift and a nice thing for somebody to have in the house who just wants a bit of nature and a bit of sort of greenery in the house. And it's a great sort of intro into aquascaping. So yeah, I just thought I'd preface it with that. It's not anything high-end, but hopefully you enjoy it, and yeah, thanks for watching.
So yeah, let's just crack on with it. So the wood is a mix of river wood and some bog wood. They'll look slightly different colours, but once underwater they'll be fine. And the stone is some elderly stone. So first I'm going to just go in with the rocks to create a kind of barrier for the soil and something that the wood can rest on. So as you can see, it's just something really simple. This is actually a bit of a budget scape. I'm just using things that I had lying around to create it, but there is a gap on the left which does look a little bit strange, and I was hoping that I could maybe use a plant to fill it. When you look at it, it does look unbalanced, so I've ordered a piece of wood to pop in, and hopefully it will bring a little bit more balance to the scape. If that doesn't work, I think I'll just remove the piece of wood on the front right and just have it as like a piece of wood that just looks like one singular piece. So next I'm just going to glue everything in place using a super glue and cotton wool method, which I'm sure by now most people have seen, but for anybody who doesn't know, basically this is inert, and it's designed for aquascape, so when it's underwater it sets basically like a hard plastic, so it's not going to be harmful to any of the inhabitants of the tank. The cotton wool just kind of helps it, you stuff it in the contact point between whatever you're trying to glue, so for example the wood and the stone, and then you kind of douse it in super glue and it creates this really strong bond, and it just makes it a lot easier for maintenance and cleaning your tank in case you knock it, your scape just doesn't fall to bits. So we'll glue everything together. Okay, so that was fiddlier than I thought it was going to be, but everything is glued into place, and if you can see any little white sandy bits dotted around the scape, it's because when the glue's wet I just sprinkle sand on it. It just looks a bit more natural than having a glue splodge. Next I'm going to go into the back of the tank with some tropical aquarium soil. So I've got soil and powder, so I'm going to use soil on the bottom and then powder on the top because it's nice to plant into. I think it's just easier to plant into like a finer grain substrate. And next is the soil powder. Next I'm gonna go in with some Wheel Heaven sand. It's a really fine light sand which I think will really show off some nice shrimp. I think she's wanting blue shrimp, so it'll really help them pop. It's quite dusty. I would recommend really washing this before you use it, but I'm going to be cycling this for the first few weeks, so I'll be doing a lot of water changes, so it should kind of stop it looking cloudy after a while. But that is the only thing with this sand, it is quite a dusty, dirty sand. To anyone that watches the channel probably knows that I'm a big fan of graded gravel, so if you've seen any of the videos or follow me on Instagram, it is something that I do quite a lot. I just think it looks really natural, so I am going to add a smaller grain gravel to this scape. However, I'm not going to put too many sort of different types and different size variants, because I find that the more kind of different size gravels you have in your foreground, you do have to do a lot of siphoning to clean it out because more detritus gets stuck in it. So I'm just going to go with some Ryu Zingu, just a little bit, just to give it some, just a bit of extra texture and a bit of extra detail, but I'm not going to go overboard on it. Kind of put it where you think you'd naturally find it, against like the rocks and stuff. And because I can't help myself, I am going to go in with a little bit of ADA gravel just because I think it looks nice. So now it's time for planting. So I've got a mix of plants, all very easy. So we've got things like Caroliniana bacopa, we've got Bucephalandra, Java fern, a couple of crypts, and then we've got some Sterigine repens, and I have plenty of tanks in the house that I can take some cuttings from, because I think I'll probably need a few more plants. I want to plant as heavy as possible to get it started. So yeah, cue planting montage. Okay, stop the planting montage. The piece of wood that I wanted to put on the left hasn't arrived in time, so I have removed the piece from the front because it did just look really unbalanced. So we're just going to go with something even simpler than anticipated, so now it does just look like a singular piece of wood. It would have been nice to have something coming in from the left, but that's not to be, so never mind, we'll go forward like this. I think I might just put like some focal point plant in this point instead. I think it'll still look okay. The moss at the front is actually a Marimo moss ball that I've torn up and just wedged into the cracks. I've never done that before, but hopefully it'll work. I just didn't want to have to maintain moss. Then we've got the Anubias Nana bonsai here. That is a little bit vertical, is that piece of wood, and it's right in the centre, so it perhaps does look a little bit odd, but hopefully with the planting it should kind of hide that fact. So yeah, now cue the planting montage.